If you were dropped into the Ice Age tonight, you would probably resort to unthinkable acts within a month. It would not be because you are inherently evil. It would simply be because the extreme cold would break your mind first. Your fingers would cease to function properly. Your skin would split and crack open from the freezing winds. Your body would burn thousands of calories an hour just trying to maintain a basic core temperature. Eventually, your starving brain would completely stop caring about modern morality. For most of ancient human history, winter was not just an uncomfortable season. Winter was a relentless and terrifying death machine. This is the horrifying truth about how our ancient ancestors survived the frozen world. By the end of this journey, you will understand why the cold permanently altered human evolution. The people who survived the last ice age were not necessarily the strongest or the fastest. They were simply the ones willing to do things that modern humans cannot even imagine. 20,000 years ago, the Earth looked like a completely alien planet. Massive, towering glaciers covered entire continents. Global temperatures routinely plummeted far below -40 degrees. Lush forests vanished entirely beneath an endless blanket of crushing snow. This was the brutal reality of the prehistoric world. It was a frozen nightmare filled with giant predators, perpetual starvation, and creeping darkness. Yet somehow, against all astronomical odds, ancient humans survived. They did not achieve this by conquering nature. They survived because they adapted to pure horror faster than any other living species. The absolute first thing the freezing cold destroyed was the food supply. Scientists have discovered something truly terrifying deep inside Ice Age caves. They found entire mountains of shattered, broken bones. Initially, researchers assumed this was just normal hunting waste from prehistoric life. Then they realized something deeply disturbing about the remains. These starving humans were not just eating the meat of the animals. They were desperately hunting for pure fat. Surviving the brutal winter required an astronomical intake of daily calories. Your body burned energy every single second just to avoid freezing solid. So, early humans became completely obsessed with extracting bone marrow. Marrow is a dense, calorie-rich animal fat hidden deep inside the bones. Archaeologists found evidence that humans smashed open mammoth bones within minutes of making a kill. Because in that frozen wasteland, a lack of fat meant certain death. And then researchers noticed a detail that chilled them to the bone. Some of the shattered remains were undeniably human. This is the dark chapter of human history that most textbooks completely ignore. Evidence of Ice Age cannibalism has been uncovered across Europe. Human skulls were found cracked open exactly like animal bones. There are undeniable stone tool cut marks sliced deep into human flesh. Burn marks from ancient fires prove that prehistoric survival sometimes meant consuming other people. This was not some dark mythology or ritualistic sacrifice. This was raw, desperate survival. The strangest and most unsettling part is that this macabre practice may have saved humanity from extinction. Researchers believe starving tribes practiced consumption after death rather than outright murder. Imagine enduring 6 straight months of freezing, suffocating darkness. Imagine hearing your children cry from agonizing hunger every single night. Imagine a barren landscape with absolutely no animals left alive. Then, someone in your desperate group inevitably passes away from the cold. What do you do next? That horrific question haunted the Stone Age constantly. Honestly, most modern humans already know the grim answer deep down. But surprisingly, cannibalism was not the darkest thing our ancestors did. Not even close. Eventually, the brutal cold began forcing humans to change how they interacted with the dead. Scientists believe that some ancient humans literally slept inside the carcasses of dead animals. Yes, they actually climbed inside them. A fresh mammoth carcass could retain its immense body heat for several hours during a raging blizzard. During severe, life-threatening storms, these giant animal bodies acted as emergency fleshy shelters. It sounds incredibly horrifying and deeply unsanitary. But the prehistoric planet did not care about human dignity. Nature only cared about survival. These extreme conditions forced humans to invent surprisingly advanced prehistoric technology. They crafted delicate bone needles to sew together layered fur clothing. They designed insulated boots made entirely from thick animal hide. They even rubbed thick animal grease directly onto their bare skin to slow down lethal heat loss. This completely shatters everything we thought we knew about primitive adaptation. These people were not mindless savages grunting in the snow. They were elite survival specialists. They navigated conditions that would cause modern humans to collapse and die within days. However, even thermal clothing could not protect them from the next great threat. The prehistoric world was heavily populated by absolute monsters. There were massive cave lions much larger than any feline alive today. Giant hyenas roamed the plains, capable of crushing human bones with a single terrifying bite. Packs of dire wolves relentlessly hunted across the frozen landscapes. During the Ice Age, humans were absolutely not the apex predators. Humans were strictly prey. That is exactly why fire became infinitely more important than food itself. Anthropologists have discovered that some groups carried burning embers everywhere they traveled. Because if your fire died in the middle of winter, your entire family died alongside it. Think about the immense pressure of that reality. One violent gust of wind could literally erase your entire bloodline forever. Eventually, desperation drove ancient humans to start killing each other just to steal fire. Many scientists now firmly believe that early human warfare began during these coldest periods. They did not fight over vast territories, ideology, or political power. They slaughtered each other purely for warmth and survival. Evidence of incredibly violent prehistoric conflicts has been uncovered inside deep cave systems. We have found crushed skulls and embedded spear points in ancient ribs. Entire families were massacred together inside their own shelters. When crucial resources disappeared, humans became ruthlessly desperate. This dark violence may explain one of the greatest mysteries in all of world history. It could explain the sudden and total disappearance of the Neanderthals. For decades, experts assumed Homo sapiens simply outsmarted their weaker cousins. But modern hominid history suggests a narrative filled with dark competition and bloody violence. The timing of their extinction is truly terrifying. As global winters became increasingly colder, Neanderthals vanished from the earth forever. But the real mystery is not why they eventually died out. The real mystery is how they managed to survive the frozen hellscape for so long. Neanderthals lived through brutal, frozen climates for hundreds of thousands of years. That requires immense intelligence, complex planning, and sophisticated survival techniques. Researchers even found proof that Neanderthals deeply cared for their severely injured group members. Some skeletons showed broken legs that had been allowed to heal completely. That physically proves someone carried them, fed them, and protected them during active starvation. That profound level of compassion changed our understanding of human evolution. Yet, there was one specific thing that our direct ancestors did much better. Homo sapiens mastered the art of widespread connection. Scientists studying early trade networks found ancient tools transported hundreds of miles across the ice. That means scattered tribes were actively communicating and sharing critical survival resources. During the absolute worst of the Ice Age, that network was the key to existence. Isolated tribes died alone in the snow, but connected tribes adapted and lived. Adaptation quickly became humanity's most powerful and deadly weapon. But surviving the Stone Age was not merely a physical challenge. It was an unbearable psychological torment. Imagine huddling beside a dying fire through 6 months of relentless darkness. There was no music, no electricity, and no guarantee your family would see the spring. To prevent their minds from breaking, ancient humans invented something truly extraordinary. They invented the art of storytelling. Storytelling was not created for simple nighttime entertainment. These essential survival stories warned young children about treacherous frozen lakes. They explained complex animal migration patterns and taught safe hunting routes. Stories allowed critical knowledge to survive far longer than human memory itself. The most haunting part is that your brain still carries these ancient Ice Age instincts today. Your inherent fear of the dark and your deep attraction to a warm fire are not random traits. They are the permanent, lingering scars of an ancient world that nearly froze us to death.